This week on Movie Mayhem Live, it's movie reviews of The House with a Clock in Its Walls, Love Gilda, Lizzie, Life Itself, The Wife, Fahrenheit 11/9. But first, we've got to take you to a little river town in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. It's Movie Mayhem Live. Hi everyone, I'm Chuck the Movie Guy. Welcome to Movie Mayhem Live podcast number 8. All right, I see we got to put the back monitor on there. We got to put the desk monitor on. How about a little corner bug action as well? And of course, the all-important join the show crawl. Now, people, please, listen to me. Come a little closer here. All right, if you look at the top of this Facebook page, you're going to see this Contact Us button. Looks just like that, not on this actual video, but at the top of the page. All you do is click on that, and you're going to be putting in your name and email, and you will be a part of the show. You can join us. You can talk about movies, talk about anything. Please, I want you to do that. The phone lines are going to be open the entire show. But first, I hope you got your passports because we got to take you to Toronto, Canada. Box office Bonnie at her apartment high atop CN Tower. Hey, Bonnie, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
There you go. Hey, Bonnie. What's happening?
Everything's great. How are you today?
Bonnie, did you survive the Toronto Film Festival?
I did. I'm still catching up on my sleep, but not a lot of interviews, but I did a lot of movie watching. So over the weeks, I'll tell you about some of the films that I saw. Some really good ones.
All right, so we got to go to Vegas right now to his presidential suite at the MGM. Looking for the Vegas film critic himself. Jeff, hey buddy,
hey,
what's up?
Greetings from Las Vegas. Hey, Bonnie.
Hey, Jeff.
Get a little bit of music there. Jeff, what's happening? Anything cool?
Yeah, the weather. It's like the mid-90s. It's like winter around here. It's beautiful.
Jeff, nobody cares. We got to get to Detroit, Michigan, at his penthouse, downtown Detroit. I'm sorry, but Greg Russell is more important than your current weather status.
Thanks.
Hey, Greg Russell. What's up?
How are you? Going well, and you?
Hey, the crew's all here.
We're all here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, hey. I'm sorry, I was only kidding, Jeff. Please don't be mad. Please don't hang up. Don't pull a Gino and just disappear on us.
Where'd Gino go? I don't know.
Yeah, there's no Gino this week. There's no Gino this week. All right, so I thought we were going
to move a lot faster then.
We have yeah, exactly. We have something like 6 movies to review, so we're going to cut short our movie news segment. But first, let's take a look at my favorite, the box office. Let's take a look at the weekend box office, courtesy of Box Office Mojo. The Predator reigns supreme in first place with 24.6 million. The Nun falls to number 2 with 18 million. Paul Feig's A Simple Favor lands in the number 3 spot with 16 million. Somehow, White Boy Rick took 4th place with 8.8 million. And in 5th place, falling all the way down, is Crazy Rich Asians with 8.6. Wow, now Jeff, we were talking about this last week. How about that huge drop for the number 1 position? We were talking about how horror movies do really well. Man, it plummeted down there in the box office. So were you a little bit surprised?
Not really, because, opening weekend is so important for almost any film, but especially the horror genre. All the diehard fans will come out, and The Nun has made, $100 million worldwide already. It is a tremendous success. And not only that, some of these other movies that Blumhouse does is like $10 million or $15 million. I had the pleasure of talking to him on the red carpet for that Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios this weekend, which we'll see the interviews later on in the coming show. And he was talking about how they take chances on some of these movies like The Nun, and not that it's low budget, but it really, the fans respond. So I'm not surprised. I'm really not.
Hey, so it was nice meeting up with your brother, wasn't it? I mean, you
Yeah.
hardly ever get to see your brother, right?
Yes, that's not Tony Toscano. Doesn't look his best in that picture. But
Oh,
that's my
really?
buddy Tony.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah, we're actually, we're gonna feature your trip in, I think, what, in 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, like the first week of October, we'll do like a cool pre-Halloween show and,
Yeah,
and
that'd be
talk
fun.
to some people from the red carpet, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Took you through some haunted houses too, so it's gonna be great.
All right, I look forward to that. Okay, big announcement today. I don't know if this is big for any of you guys. Space Jam 2 with the
please.
one, the only.
LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James.
I don't know. Were you a fan of the first Space Jam? I wasn't.
No.
I didn't like it. I didn't like basketball. I'm willing to watch it again. Maybe it's a new perspective. And I know there's a lot of people, multi-generations, who love that film. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy when people and fans get a sequel or another version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Bill Murray, so having Bill Murray in the movie was, I thought, the best part of Space Jam. But Greg, did you like Space Jam? Did you get into that at
Yeah,
all?
I liked the first one because my son was a young boy, then. And so he enjoyed it. We knew all the players. I mean, that made it good. It was Charles Barkley, Bud Webb, and I think Larry Johnson. They were all in it. So we knew all of those. Also, I think that's back when I was covering the NBA as well. So that made it even, more special. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was nice and simple.
Yeah, and the other big news, everybody, it's just all over the internet. They dropped the Captain Marvel trailer. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pumped. I am.
We
I think
talked
it'll
about
be a
this
lot of
Doc,
fun.
before the show.
What?
We talked about this before the show about showing trailers, and here you just did the ultimate. Instead of just saying the trailer dropped with a link, you just showed me the trailer, which I avoid.
It's not
And now
like
you're
Because
jazzed
it's Brie
about it.
Larson.
it's not like I'm showing you what everybody is obsessing about. The scene where she punches out the old lady. I would never stoop that low to show that scene over and over and over again. Of course, if you're a big fan of Marvel, you know. Look at Greg's already doing it. Look, he's ready to go. Yeah, I know, but there are certain exceptions that don't watch the trailer. I like a Marvel movie. It's like I've read every comic book. I'm familiar with every storyline. I've got to watch that. You're right. We did talk about that. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a pass.
But is anybody else pumped up about that as I am?
Well, yeah, and also I've got a question. When we were growing up, wasn't Captain Marvel a guy?
See, that's what I thought too.
Well, no.
Yeah,
Captain
he
Marvel's
was.
been a couple of different people.
Yeah,
You know.
Okay.
traditionally,
Yeah,
it could be-
traditionally.
Traditionally
It goes
started
through the
out
different
it
ones,
was
yeah.
a man.
Yeah.
Okay, I got into a discussion with a kid the other day who saw this trailer, and he's going, "No, she's always been a girl." And it's not the one I remember.
Well, I grew up with Shazam. I didn't grow up with Captain Marvel.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I wouldn't.
Hey.
Now that movie I'm
All right,
looking for.
Greg, go ahead. Repeat the names of Shazam.
Oh God, Zam.
Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury. Come on. How do you not know those?
I was taken off guard.
A young Billy Batson.
Clark Kent.
Shazam.
Yeah, exactly.
I was confusing the
I used-
Andy Griffith show.
I used
Yeah,
to watch.
that's
They
what it's
they put Shazam on the car, on the front of the hood of the car, and then they shot it, and it made it look like he was flying. And I was like, oh my God, that was the greatest thing ever. I'm actually, I know, and that's another trailer I saw. Here we are talking
Oh,
about.
I'm looking forward to that movie
Well,
big time.
Well, you know why, Bonnie? Why are you looking forward to that?
Oh, because of the lead actor, who was in a great little show called Chuck. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward
Yeah,
to that.
Bonnie and I are both huge fans of Zachary Levi, so
Yeah,
that's gonna be really exciting. All right,
And
so
that movie, by the way, was all shot here in Toronto, too.
no way.
Yep.
All right, so,
Everything's shot in Toronto.
well, yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Toronto's the place to be, and Bonnie's high atop in the CN Tower, so she watches it all. So
I
they're
look
all-
down. Yeah.
She looks down on all of you. So speaking of which, Bonnie, you want to explain to us this? Okay, so Bonnie's
yeah.
at a party hanging out with major stars, Gaga, and of course,
That's
J-
the best one.
yeah, is that the best one?
That is definitely the best, yeah.
What? How was that? Tell us, what was it like meeting the Gaga?
So that was really cool. That was during the Toronto International Film Festival, and there was a small cocktail party for all of us members who are part of the PFCA. If you guys had been in Toronto, you would have been there, but that's okay, next year. So
Wait,
it was a nice...
please pause for Jeff's angry look. Okay. All right,
Yeah, we all
go.
got
Continue
the
on.
invite.
You know what? You can all stay here. You can all stay here, and then we'll all go to these parties together.
We
That's
have an
what-
Don't
invitation.
think I won't remember that.
Yeah,
No problem.
we're rolling tape. We're gonna play it back for you. So it was
I stayed in Tijuana for the Comic-Con. I'll
I
sleep
know you
anywhere
did.
you want me to. I'll sleep
I
anywhere.
know you did.
so Bonnie,
But
what she was cool.
anyway, it was fun. Yeah, she was very, very cool. What happened was that we knew that Bradley was coming, and they said perhaps a few of the stars from the film. We had no idea who was coming. And when Bradley walked through the door, it was great. He greeted everybody. He spoke with everybody. He took a lot of time. I mean, he's really pumping up this movie, so he took this time. And then Lady Gaga walked in, and we were all like, oh, my goodness. And nobody at first knew how to kind of, like, should we talk to her? Like, what should we do? Anyway, she was lovely. She's such a petite little thing. And she was chatting with everybody and taking pictures. She was very, very patient and stayed longer than I think she was supposed to. And then, of course, Sam Elliott was there, who, for me, is, one of my favorite actors ever. So we chatted for a bit. And Anthony Ramos was also there, who was in Hamilton on Broadway, and I saw him on Broadway in Hamilton. He is so talented. So he was in 2 films at the festival. He's in A Star is Born and Monsters and Men, which I didn't get a chance to see, but that will be coming out soon. So it was a nice little party, and like I say, they spent at least over an hour just chatting with everybody there and taking their time and answering questions and just talking about the film. So it was a lot of fun.
So then I guess you were Gaga over Gaga then.
No, it wasn't Gaga over Gaga. I was more Gaga over Sam Elliott, but but she's quite a presence. Yeah.
So Bonnie, I can't tell this story here, but at the Essex House for the We Were Soldiers junket, I have a great Sam Elliott story that I always tell.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I look
What's
forward
up
to
with
it.
It's really good.
Thanks for just not saying anything. But that reminds me, Jeff, did you get your tickets?
Tickets?
You didn't get your tickets.
No. What tickets?
Well, to the Cannonball Run, Wine and Recline with Greg Russell Detroit.
I didn't get mine either.
Well, I was thinking, why should we have to get tickets? Don't we know Greg Russell Detroit?
I think we should get it for free.
Right. If you guys can make it to Detroit, you can come for free. That's
Excellent.
for sure.
Well, Greg, why don't you give us a little rundown of what's going on here?
Well, I have this event every month, and it's called Wine and Recline with Greg Russell at the Imagine Theater chains, which are basically here in Detroit and throughout Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. And it's just a fun time. We go to their private screening room, and we usually pick out a classic movie. And so, of course, with Burt Reynolds passing away, I decided to pick Cannonball Run, which is actually one of my all-time favorite Burt Reynolds movies. But you know what the scary part is when you're looking at that flyer? Other than me, everybody else in that picture has passed away.
Oh.
It was like,
Oh,
yeah.
Yikes. True.
That is so sad. That is so sad. So.
Yeah.
Well, you're the Sammy Davis of Detroit for me. That's still.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
baby. I appreciate that. I need a smoke.
One of these days, we're all going to show up. We're all going to show up to your wine and dine. So.
Oh, for sure.
All right, we got to get started. We got a lot of movies to cover. The first one is The House with a Clock in Its Walls. All right. So, who saw this movie?
I did not.
Okay,
I'm the only one who did it.
So we got 3 of us that saw it. All right. So Jeff, why don't you go ahead and give us the rundown?
Well, we have a little boy, Lewis, who lost his parents to a car accident. He goes to stay with his eccentric uncle, played by Jack Black, who has a secret. He's a warlock, which is a male witch. And he lives in this house that's almost like a haunted Pee-wee's Playhouse, where everything from books to chairs to the plants outside are alive. And so the kid who's a socially inept kind of kid, he has no friends, he wears a bow tie, he's the ultimate nerd, he has trouble with his new school, but he fits right in with his uncle, who's like, his attitude is, there's no rules. Go to bed when you want, eat what you want. But of course, he starts to find out about him and his best friend, played by Kate Blanchett, who's another warlock, or not a warlock, a witch, I guess.
Witch,
and,
yeah.
A witch. And then she and Jack Black try to hide this secret. They're looking for this clock on the wall, which we don't want to give away why or what it does. But ultimately, the movie's got, it's full of magic, full of special effects. And director Eli Roth, who does horror films, like Hostel. Boy, does he have his mark on this film, especially the second half, where it gets really weird and creepy.
Well, the thing for me that I was looking forward to most on this was the screenwriter, Eric Kripke, who is just one of my absolute favorites. He wrote almost like Supernatural. He did Revolution. He just did something else too. I can't remember what it is, but I'm a huge fan of his. Greg, I see you nodding your head.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say he's from Michigan, because remember when it started out, it said that the town was something like Beezus, Michigan. And I looked it up trying to figure out where the heck is this place. Actually, he grew up in a city called Marshall, Michigan, and I guess that was their nickname. So that's pretty cool because Marshall's all the way on the west side of the state, and it probably hasn't changed much since 1955 from what they were showing in the movie. It's just this quaint little town. So yeah, so that was kind of neat just seeing, hey, all right, Michigan made it. But I enjoyed the movie.
Oh, you did? You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
I'm kind of mixed on it. You know, while I understand visually it's incredible and Jack Black is colorful, and I think kids are going to eat this up. It's going to do big box office. It's a mess the second half of the film. The continuity, the storyline. I don't want to sit here for a half hour and talk about it. So I wasn't impressed with the movie as I wanted to be. Visually, it was great, but just the story was really difficult to follow.
Yeah, I'm up there with you. I thought the entire movie was a mess. I was expecting Eli Roth. I mean, there are some creepy moments with the dolls, but and the screen. I was never more disappointed with the actual storyline and just the way I was bored. And I want to tell you how my 35 minutes, the first 35 minutes of my screening was, ma. It went on, and nobody would shut up this kid. And I mean, 35 minutes. And finally, somebody went over and leaned and said something, and he shut up for about 10 minutes, and then he started up again. And all the kids were completely restless in my screening. They just couldn't care less. And I have to agree with them. It wasn't captivating me on screen.
I had a 90-year-old guy behind me shucking pistachio shells, eating nuts, and throwing them on the floor. I went and got the manager because I was freaking out. I even threw popcorn at the guy to shut him up. I had a lady with a baby. I'm serious. Ask people. I took a handful and threw it. I had a baby 2 rows behind me. She kept getting up and leaving every 6 or 7 times. Who brings an infant to a movie like that?
Yeah, all right. A lot of people do.
Real quick about the movie, the kid. I thought he was all wrong. He didn't have any kind of arc. He should have had a best friend help him out. He should have had a change by the end of the movie. He was just really, damaged, emotional kid who kept crying all the time. I didn't like the kid at all.
Greg, why don't you give us a letter grade?
Let's see. Well, I figure it's only going to go down from here. So since of course it deals with Michigan, I'll just go B.
You're going to give it a B? Okay, that's not bad. What about you, Jeff?
I thought Jack Black's character should have been more than R.L. Stine. It looked like the same thing to me. I give it a C.
Wow.
It's going to do big business. This is a critic-proof movie. Kids and families don't care what we say. It looks great. That little clip you showed, I was like, wow, let's watch that.
Yeah,
it looks pretty cool.
I'm you know something? I'm sorry. I'm going to have to give it a D. I just did. I was going to go C-, but there really wasn't enough substance for me to like that. So that's pretty.
The story suffered. Suffered.
Definitely story suffered. All right, next up, love Gilda. I have to tell you, I have never wanted to see something more than this. It looks fantastic. Now, Bonnie, you saw this a long time ago, didn't you?
I did. I saw it. We have Hot Docs here in Toronto. That's back in April, beginning of April, and so I was able to screen it then with a whole bunch of other documentaries. And of course, I had my box of Kleenex with me. I've always been a huge Gilda Radner fan. She was just taken from us way too early. She, of course, died of cancer, for people who don't know that. And I just love her relationship with Gene Wilder. They were married, and they were just talk about when she says, that love drove her. Early on in her career, she had many affairs, and she, with a lot of her castmates from SNL, and she, but when she met Gene Wilder, that was really the love of her life for sure, and just a tragedy. So I was so excited to see this film, and it's a lovely little tribute to Gilda Radner.
Yeah. Now, Greg, you just saw it the other day, right?
Right, and I have to agree with Bonnie. Very good documentary, and it showed all sides of the character. This wasn't just about her as the comedian, but like you said, about things going on in her life once she got sick, and just how things just begin to happen. Also good friends with her cousin, who also saw the movie. So when I talked to her, she said, oh yeah, the family loved it. Of course they all cried. And like Bonnie said, I sat here too, with kind of like a little tear in the eye, because it does get you, especially when somebody is taken away at such an early age.
Yeah. Now, so Bonnie, what are you going to grade this?
Oh gosh, I think I would give it an A minus. Like I said, was very informative. I learned a lot about her, things that I didn't know. It was very well put together. It was very poignant. They had movie stars, Amy Poehler and Melissa McCarthy reading her memoir, like reading her diary pages, like going, oh my gosh, like really. And I thought it was very well put together. Here in Toronto, every year they do a Gilda's Club tribute every year to raise money for cancer and stuff. And so we have a Gilda house here, and so it really kind of hit home. She's very loved here. She was, started off here in Second City, and she had her roots here for many, many years. So I really liked it. Yeah, I stick with an A minus on this.
All right, Greg, what about you?
And I'll be, as usual, Mr. Optimist. I'll give it an A because, like you said, I enjoyed it. Also, the producer is a University of Michigan grad, which is also where Gilda went. And just like with you, Bonnie, we have this thing called Gilda's Club here in the Detroit area. And like I said, that's for people who, may have different illnesses and different things like that, almost like a Ronald McDonald House. So that's something else, that's part of her legacy here.
So, Greg, is everybody connected to Detroit somehow or another?
Pretty much. I mean, Detroit is the motherland. Everybody in the United States was born originally in Detroit and just moved out.
Okay. All right. Next up, this movie's fresh in some of our minds, and some of us just saw it a couple days ago. It's so let me ask.
Yeah, really creepy.
Yeah, please, if you're watching this live, click on the Contact Us button at the top of the page if you have any questions or you want to comment on any of this stuff. We'd love to hear from you. But now, Jeff, Jeff, what's this movie about?
Well, it's about a woman who allegedly chops up her family because the father's been too strict and caught her in a lesbian affair with the chambermaid. So it's one of the most famous horror stories in American history. And there's all kinds of speculation. Did she really do it? She really got off in real life? So the movie takes a modern kind of twist on that. Cat out of the bag. Oh, come on. Yeah, right. Everyone knows who I forgot to look up on the internet that famous poem.
I didn't know about the relationship.
The Lizzie Borden poem. Yeah.
Oh, come on. It was in the trailer. They were making out.
Well, but I didn't watch the trailer until after I saw the movie.
Oh, well, you're the producer. It's your fault. It's fair game. The cat's out of the bag. It's like poisonous fruit, like in a courtroom. There it is. You showed it. I'm talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
this is it's a reimagining of a classic tale for the modern generation. It is creepy. It has got great performances. I love the setting. The movie was shot in 23 days, and you don't know. It keeps you guessing. Is she mentally ill? Was she a conniving person to get her family's fortune? It's like it doesn't wrap up anything. It's all loose ends, and I'm really surprised how good it was.
And what didn't surprise me was how great the acting was. I mean, I was just floored. Well, everybody did such a great job in this movie, but there were little things that whether they're true or not that I didn't know about. And the way they did leave a couple of those things up to you to decide how it happened. But I
was surprised I thought it was going to be a straight. We're waiting for the final scene where she's going to chop everybody up, and it's going to be this gory kind of thing. It wasn't that at all. It was very character driven, and the murders were like kind of secondary to the movie.
I really enjoyed it too. I thought now Jeff and I were the only two that saw this, right, Greg? You didn't see this?
Right, I didn't see it, even though ironically Silence of the Lambs is on in the background. But I think it's because Lizzie Borden, she wasn't from Michigan. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think if we dug deep enough, we would find that she actually was, but I don't want to get
into she knew.
Yeah, exactly.
She got gas in Detroit.
Exactly.
Right.
She fed her horse in Detroit.
All right, Jeff, so then I'm assuming, what, an A?
No, not that. It's a B.
It's a B for you?
I don't throw A's out that often. They got to be really good. It was a really good thriller, but it was a B. Wonderful performances, great music, great mood. Just let it unfold. It's not a movie to be rushed.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to just up you just a little bit there. I'm giving this one definitely a B plus for me. Really
raised the GPA of the review. Then, thank you.
Exactly. They really did a good job with that one. All right, next up. Life Itself. All right, now, Jeff, or Greg, you said you got to leave. Is it almost time for you to leave?
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to see this movie, but then again, I don't think it took place in Michigan.
Okay.
But I will say this, are you also going to talk about the Michael Moore movie?
Yes, at the end. Yeah, it was the last
absolutely.
one.
Okay, well, I'll just put my part in on this. I did see that one, and of course, people say, what is it? I just tell them, it's a typical Michael Moore movie. On that one, I give it a C, only because, depending on which way you look at it, you're either going to love it or hate it. but I know you guys will give it full justice. So there you go.
All right, we're jumping ahead to the.
Bye, Greg.
But all right, Greg. Thanks so much. Take care,
Thank you guys.
and we'll
Bye,
talk to
Greg.
you next week.
Okie doke.
Bye bye.
See ya. See ya.
Bye.
And he's gone. Boom, he's gone. All right.
Right.
All right.
Now we can talk. Now we can get the show
Now,
going.
now we can finally talk.
Now,
Yeah.
man, that guy bugged me. Oh, everybody's from Detroit. Oh, did I ever tell you about how just kidding aside, Greg Russell knows everybody. I would have
does.
dinner with him at the Four Seasons, and people like Lionel Richie would walk by, and he'd be like, "Hey, Greg," and he would shake hands with them, and then it's disgusting. But everybody knows him, and everybody loves him.
And he wouldn't be a fanboy. He'd just be, "Oh, hi, how are you?"
Right,
He would just be
exactly.
so reserved, like it's like ordinary, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
Life itself.
Yeah, exactly. Life itself. Now, Bonnie, I'm gonna. You got to sit down. Was it at the Toronto Film Festival? You sat down with?
I did. I was really looking forward to this film because I am such a big fan of This Is Us, the TV series, which is created by Dan Fogelman, and Dan Fogelman is the writer and director of Life Itself. So I was really pumped for this. Brought my box of Kleenex and everything, but I have to tell you that I didn't fall. We'll talk about the review part of it after, but I was very excited because I did get to sit down with Dan Fogelman for about 10 or 15 minutes. But this is not a video interview, it's an audio interview. So we have a clip, I understand, from a little bit of my my discussion with Dan. And what he did was he broke this film into chapters, and then in fine form of Dan Fogelman, he kind of makes everything connect and all the people connect. But we talked a little bit about that, so let's have a listen.
All right.
And with this film, what I love so much about it is I love how you divided it into, so many different chapters, as you call them in the film. And of course, the brilliant Dan Fogelman always weaves everything together, makes it all work. But this was like, where did this come from?
I don't know. I wish I had some great answer in terms of like the inspiration when I sat down to write. I'm not that kind of writer, really.
Okay.
I really do write kind of stream of consciousness, especially on this one. And I just started writing and let it unfold as I was writing. I think I had some things floating around, and after the fact, I started seeing what I was doing. But it was only when the script was kind of done and the movie was pretty much made that I was like, oh, I see. I've spoken pretty openly about it, but I lost my mom.
Yeah.
10 years ago, and it was the body blow of my life at that time, and to this day.
Of course.
And then and we were very close, and then a year later, almost to the day, I met my wife, who kind of changed my life. And so I think that was the inspiration in some ways for this film.
Yeah.
Those two women and those relationships and the timing of it all. But I wasn't consciously thinking about that, like I'm going to write something about that when I was writing it. It just kind of happened because it was inside of me, I think.
All right. Now, Bonnie, where can we see the full or listen to the full interview for that? Because that was really good.
Okay, you can definitely watch it on my website, smartentertainmentgroup.com, and also my movie channel, or my YouTube channel, excuse me, and it's Moviegals, Movigalz, on YouTube. So either way, I'm streaming in the full interview up there.
Okay, I'm going to actually go and do something a little bit different here. Instead of telling you my what I thought of the movie, I thought I would, let's just take a look.
Okay.
Chapter 1. Chuck the Movie Guy watches with excitement as he loves Olivia Wilde and the TV show This Is Us. Chapter 2. Chuck is concerned where the story is heading, but still has high expectations, even though he thinks he knows the ending of the film. Chapter 3. Shocked at the events of the previous chapters, but his mind drifts. Chapter 4. Chuck is thinking about this week's movie Mayhem Live and graphics he needs to finish. Chapter 5. Chuck wonders if he left the gas stove on and why Gino Salomon will not be on the show this week. Chapter 6. Chuck, a man who cries at TV shows, movies, but never real life, was bored. In fact, he is thinking if he had to review the movie with one word, that word would be, Is that even a word? Plus, he was 100% correct on the movie's ending.
There you go.
Yeah, that was very good. Very clever. And you got Gino on the show tonight.
I know. I had to get him on there somewhere. So, Jeff, you saw this movie as well?
I did. I saw it last night, and I've not seen the TV show, which I've heard wonderful things about. I'm going to binge watch it maybe someday, in the near future. I know, especially Bonnie, if you tell me to, I will. I went to this movie, I saw the trailer, and I went in kicking and screaming. I didn't want to see this movie. I didn't want to see this heavy drama. But as this movie unfolded, the writing, the performances, I got totally sucked into this film. And I must have cried 3 or 4 times. I'm going to admit it. But I love how these two families, by the end of the film, how they intersect, how they relate to each other. Of course, it's movie fantasy, but that's what was so great about it. Because you were so much invested in these characters. By the time the movie ended, you just walked out thinking to yourself, wow, life is unreliable narrator, because things happen in life. The movie was just so honest and genuine to a certain level, and I just thought the writing was so brilliant. And to have a whole movie in Spanish for an hour, that was just, and I loved it. I just absolutely loved this film. It just really made me a fan of him.
Well, see, I liked a couple elements what you were talking about there, but I saw the ending of this movie the moment it happened. And I was like, well, obviously that's going to happen, and that's going to happen, and that's going to connect.
Not an ending. You saw the moment that was going to happen at the end of the film. That's much different. You didn't know the ending at all. You didn't know the ending.
I did.
When we noticed, no, you didn't.
No, when I saw when what happens actually happens, and they showed who witnessed whatever, I said to myself, oh, you watch blah, 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 end up with blah, 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 and it happened exactly like that. And I was bored most of the time. I really was. I didn't cry. I love Olivia Wilde. She's the entire movie for me. But there was just, and I love the little cameo with the narrator in the beginning. I love that part. But for the most part,
And the whole Pulp Fiction thing, because the filmmaker did the exact same thing. He did it in chapters like Pulp Fiction. Like any Tarantino film, everything is that. But Chuck, I completely disagree with you. You needed to pay attention more.
I was paying attention. Bonnie, what did you think?
Okay, well, I'm kind of leaning a little bit with you, Chuck. Okay, I have to tell you, I was so looking forward to this.
Jeff.
And I wanted to love it so badly. I did. I mean, I wanted to cry. And I cry at, listen, I cry at everything. I cried more watching the Quincy Jones documentary than I did watching life itself. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, I was so moved by it. I can't wait for that movie to open on Netflix, because we got to talk about it. But I digress. I thought it was very bold of him to do like a third of that film in Spanish. I just thought, wow, that's taking a huge chance. I also have never seen Antonio Banderas looking so good.
He did look good.
He looked good. He was great in the film. That was a huge shock and surprise for me. I loved Antonio Banderas in this film. But for me, it just went on a little bit too long, and it was starting to get a little messy. Like they were trying, because Dan Fogelman does that. And when you watch This Is Us, you'll see how he connects things and it all works,
Yeah, because my big complaint, it just ended like 4 times. I thought, okay, we're done. And it just chapter 5 now. I'm like, it got to be a little taxing after a while, because you're like, I get what you're saying, but I need to dig myself out of this hole, because I'm like, it just got to be too much at point. That was my only complaint. It could have been shorter, but I thought, okay, I kept getting up, and I'm like, oh, there's still more. And it ended, especially the last chapter, it must have ended 3 times in the last 20 minutes alone.
Yeah. My wife is always, like, anytime there's a commercial or there's something on TV, I'm bawling my eyes out, and she goes, are you crying? I'm always like, no, whatever. But in reality, when things happen in real life, somebody could fall over dead in front of me, and I'd be like, but I really get emotional. I got nothing. Bonnie, I'm sorry.
Or hit by a bus, you would just go,
Wouldn't do anything for me, but it has to be a movie or a TV show, and I got nothing from this movie. So, all right, so it looks like we got...
Chuck has no soul. Got it.
I sold my soul a long time ago, Jeff. All right, Jeff, so then I'm going to start with you. Give me a grade there, buddy.
I'm going to give it a B. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, wow, big B for you. Bonnie, what are you saying?
I'm saying C+ on this one.
Oh, C+? Oh my God, I hit the wrong button.
GPA went up.
Exactly.
C+. There you go.
C+. I'm even not even tempted to give it a C-. I was just.
You people and your plus and minuses. We're not in a curve here.
Yes, we are. Yeah, it goes like this.
A, B, C, D,
You
F.
liked it the most. It goes from the other way.
I go with a C.
Oh, you're gonna go back to a C?
It's average. Yeah, average grade.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So next up, we have A new movie, a movie that was given the Critics' Choice seal of approval, and of course, we are talking about The Wife. All right, so if you have want any information on the Critics' Choice seal of approval, you can go to the website at criticschoice.com, which we're all members of the Broadcast Film Critics Association. Now, Jeff, if I'm not mistaken, now, Bonnie, you didn't see this, right?
No, it was actually at the film festival last year, and I had a ticket for it, and it was one of those really late night screenings, and it was near the end of the festival, and I just went, I'm going home. I was exhausted and I couldn't make it, and they haven't screened it for us here yet because it's not opening here until I think next week. So
yeah,
I'm a little behind.
They didn't screen it for me either, but I can tell you, well, Jeff being the only one, he'll tell us about this movie, but based upon what I saw on the trailer, which, boy, what a superb cast, and looks like some incredible acting. So is that the case there, Jeff?
Oh, absolutely. Glenn Close is a writer in college, but she stifled her dreams when she got married because it was a sign of the times. You were supposed to be, a good wife to the husband. And her husband, Jonathan Pryce, was an up-and-coming writer as well. They met in college. But he couldn't seem to get over a lot of stumbling blocks with his writing, and he turned to his wife to kind of punch things up and to help things. Eventually, she started writing everything for him. And now the movie we find at the end of their careers, at the end of their lives, where he's getting the Nobel Prize for Literature. So all this time, she's stewing, and she's like, I'm the real author. I am the person.
Sounds great.
Right. If you just see in that trailer alone, she delivers so many great moments in this movie by just not saying anything. She is sitting there. You can see her mind. You can see her emotion going through it. Jonathan Pryce is phenomenal in this. I know people are saying Lady Gaga's a shoo-in for Best Actress, which may be, true. I haven't seen A Star Is Born yet. But, man, Glenn Close in this, she was just brilliant. I love this film. It is really good.
Oh, I'll have to see that. I'm going to look forward to seeing that. I'm sure we'll get a screener at some point.
But is it worthy of the one you don't give up too much, which is the letter A?
Absolutely, yeah.
No, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll definitely have to see this.
It's an A for performances. They're just powerhouses. They're just really, really good.
I got to be honest with you. I had no desire to see this up until I saw the trailer, and then I was like, wow. And then and I'm a huge Christian Slater fan too, as well.
Yeah.
He's the reporter nosing around and finding out her secret and saying, "How can you do this? You need to do something." And it's just there's this back and forth through the whole movie. There's not a big cast in this, so it's almost like a play that unfolds because the battles between Glenn Close and Jonathan Pryce, you think you're watching it on stage. This could be easily adapted into a sstage play. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Oh wow! Sure. I hope to see it soon. So all right, so that brings us
to screener.
Yeah,
because it's Sony Pictures Classics, and for Glenn, they're going to be sending that out.
Oh yeah, we'll get one.
All right, that brings us to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is going to be tough to review because
very tough.
We're going to have to reveal our political affiliations, but I'm just going to talk about exactly what the movie is. Chuck, we can't hear you. What's going on? I can't hear you.
Yeah, you can't hear your audio, Chuck. Can't hear you still.
Live television.
It's up to you and me now. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to reveal my political affiliation here. I don't want to be one-sided whatsoever. So I'm a raging social democrat, I guess they would say. So I went to this movie, and especially with my Michael Moore fan, I went to this movie totally, I'm a little biased. I'm going to say that, but the movie isn't just bashing Trump the whole film, which it does, takes swipes. He goes to Flint, Michigan, and sees the corruption all the way from the top, poisoning these people of his hometown. He does so many things about importance of elections, about how young people need to get out and vote more, and how a third of America is not voting. So it's just a whole kind of a gloss over about how to be a good citizen. About when I was a kid, they taught civics, how to be a good American, which they don't do anymore. And of course, Donald Trump, all his downcomings and all the corruption in the federal government and just in the political system. So it's an eye opener. So I came out thinking, my gosh, this is like, the 10 Commandments. Well, some people who are on the other side of the aisle are just going to trash it. So it's all how you see things. I know conservatives, I do their talk shows, they won't even see this movie. Absolutely not. Not even to see it, to have an opinion on it. They just hate Michael Moore. So
yeah, that's ridiculous.
So Bonnie, you're Canadian. What did you think about the mess in America here?
First of all, I he's honest about everything. He just tells it like it is, and he's a good filmmaker as far as I'm concerned. He really does his research and everything. So when I sat down to watch it, I honestly did think it was going to be 90 minutes, 2 hours of Trump bashing. It is not at all. Yeah, he goes after, as you say, everybody in this film. So it's equal territory, people. So the people who are thinking about I don't want to see it because I like this person or I don't like this person, go see it because it takes a swipe at everybody. If you are a huge Obama fan, it's going to make you think about a couple of things that he did as well. That I kind of was like, wow, especially with the whole
The
drinking
deporter in chief. That's what he was called.
Yeah, and I mean,
Hi, everyone.
Oh yeah, we can hear you now, Chuck.
Chuck, we're having a big boy discussion here. Hold on.
I missed it. Yeah. No, the batteries went dead on my rechargeable batteries went dead on my mic, and I had to run upstairs and get new batteries. I'm sorry I missed what you guys were saying.
That moment, the intelligence level of the show went through the roof with me and Bonnie here. So.
It really did. I think the spike went up in our ratings.
Well, you know, you're not far off because
I
know nothing about politics, but I will tell you, when I see a Michael Moore movie, which I generally, I said I know I don't know anything about politics, but I also know when I'm being manipulated, which usually happens when they show you only a certain side of so and so. But when you see and you're presented with actual video footage of the stuff they're talking about, this movie just made me angry.
Right.
I mean, first, what's that, Jeff?
It should make you angry.
Oh yeah,
it should make you want to. It's a call to arms. That's what Michael Moore is doing.
And I did think I don't know if you guys talked about this, but the middle 70% mark of this movie just tanks. It just slows down, and then you're just kind of like, let's get more into the meat of it. I got a little bit bored, but some of the
things. The running time was 2 hours, and I thought to myself, this is going to be a long, and it didn't seem like 2 hours at all to me.
Yeah.
I thought the dramatics with the alarms going off and the black like that. I went to the theater this morning, and there were signs saying that happens because people think something's going wrong in the theater. Because that scene in the movie where he sets the alarms going off, and that kind of got too much.
I mean, and the stuff that were really just wrenching when I did not know about a lot of this stuff, like the Obama thing and the drinking water just made me so angry.
We were just saying that too.
Yeah.
It doesn't just pick fights with Donald Trump, It shows that Obama wasn't
all the government people. Yeah.
Absolutely, like the governor of Flint, Michigan. Oh my God!
And Jeff, I don't want to reveal what your fans.
Greg now? Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Where's your governor now?
I was thinking of you, Jeff, because I know there was somebody that you really, really liked that when they were running, and I did not know some of the evil dealings of what happened with that person. And when I found out that person technically won.
Should have won.
Yeah, But I was so angry. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can understand.
You mean Al Gore?
No,
he won.
Well, I'm just talking about there was a
Hillary
couple
Clinton
of things.
won the popular vote.
Right, popular vote. Bernie Sanders.
Bernie
Sanders. I did not know Bernie Sanders won.
Bernie got cheated.
Yeah,
I campaigned for Bernie.
Yeah,
I campaigned
That's what
for
I was
Bernie.
talking about.
Yeah.
He got cheated.
The DNC were corrupted too. They pushed him out.
I was shocked.
And here's the thing. I was so involved with the last election here. Everything every footage in that movie I saw firsthand. 99% from the political conventions to all those news breaks I saw firsthand. None of that stuff was a surprise to me, but there it all was. And Bernie, Bernie.
Yeah, I had heard people talking about it, and I just thought, they're just sore losers. And now I'm like,
no. They were all corrupt and manipulated. It was all corrupt on both sides, more so the Republicans, but just more so. It makes you angry. That's why there's a record amount of women running. And that's why there's a record amount of independents. I'm telling you, that's why this November election is the most important for the United States.
And the thing about, I'm angry at all parties from everything that we saw in this movie.
But choose the lesser of two evils. Though.
Yeah, but you know what really made me angry was the Flint water thing when they actually made a video of them turning off the water. And then it's just like there's proof right here that. Oh my God, is that you guys aren't going to believe this?
What do we have?
No, we have a caller, but it's
all
not.
Right.
But it's. Where'd she go? Hold on. Wait. I cannot believe this. This
first caller.
I know our first caller, but I actually know this person, and I don't think she's going to give us our. I don't know why I can't get her now. That's a shame.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's your wife's fault.
No, it's my 97-year-old grandmother who watches the show live.
Oh, hi, Grandma.
And she goes, I never have anything to say. I always say, you should call in. But for whatever reason, I'm not able to get her. That's a shame.
Oh,
wait,
no,
wait,
that's a
wait.
shame. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
No. Well, anyhow, I guess in
Grandma?
summary, do we all like this movie?
Very much so.
Yeah, it was very eye-opening. I liked it. I mean, it's a hard movie to say that you like it because you're so angry after it.
It's informative.
It's very informative. It's very well done. And you know what? No matter what people think about Michael Moore, man, he really does his research. He gets the footage. He goes, you know, he doesn't care. He'll go.
He was one of my favorite interviews, and one of my first when I started the junkets. We went to Toronto for the film festival where he did
Roger and
Bowling
me.
for Bowling for Columbine.
Yeah,
That's where I met him, right? And I brought the poster with me, and I have it hanging in my hallway here. And I asked him to sign it, and he didn't have a chance to. So he says mail it to me. I mail it to him, and every time I saw him after that, he would see me walk into the interview room and go, "It's on my desk. It's on my." So it took like 3 or 4 years to get this poster from him. It finally showed up, but it's hanging in my hallway. So
That's
and
awesome.
I understand. I don't know if he was at Toronto this year. Did you see him, Bonnie?
He was.
Yeah?
I didn't get an interview. He did very limited. I also don't, when you're at the Toronto Film Festival and if you don't have like a room set up with a
Right.
camera and everything, it's very hard to get these interviews. He did go to
Right.
room to room. If I had that, you know what? We should
And they
just make
also-
a pact. You guys have to come next year and we'll all share interviews and get,
Awesome.
we should do it that way.
Yeah.
Well,
But
they sent the invite too. He's going to be in LA this Saturday if they wanted BFCM members to come out and meet and greet with him too.
see,
So
that would
I'm
be really
debating.
cool.
I'm
Yeah.
debating about going out there just to talk to him. So
You
Oh,
should.
wow.
I mean, you're so close. You
Yeah.
should.
All right,
Yeah.
give me a letter grade, Bonnie.
Oh, I'm gonna give it an A.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially being
Canada.
Canadian, I thought it's brilliant. I think everybody needs to see it.
can you believe that? No health care in our country for everyone? You
I
can lose
don't
your house.
even know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
Sicko. He did Sicko. That was enough right there to make you upset
Yeah.
when he did Sicko,
absolutely.
And he kept trying to find the bill in Canada, in the hospitals, trying to
Yeah.
find where to pay the bill. They're like, what
Listen,
bill?
listen,
Here's some money
you
for a
don't-
taxi.
We do not have perfect health care. Don't get that, but we are taken care of, and that is, and I still find it amazing that you guys just don't have what we have.
Because
it
the insurance
boggles my
companies.
mind.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind.
What about you, Jeff? Give me a letter.
I'm a huge Michael Moore fan. I'm a raging social democrat, and I give it an A. Every American should see this.
Wow.
And
So,
act accordingly.
yeah, I'm a little shocked because somebody who says they don't throw out A's and you're giving out 2. I'm going to give it a B plus. I thought that quarter percentage of the movie just fell flat for me, but it made me angry and it made me
And you
think.
know what?
And it
They're
did.
it's called call to action, Chuck. You make sure you're registered, make sure your wife is registered, and you go vote along party lines, and let's take back the House, take back the Senate, and impeach this idiot.
Okay. It certainly is an eye opener for someone who doesn't follow politics and do stuff. I mean, it really is something I really think.
You're never too late. You're perfect
yeah.
timing. Get out there,
Yeah.
Chuck.
All right, so that's it for the show this week. And
Okay.
I want to tell you that next week. Oh wait, you want to do your plugs? Let me stop. That's like Bonnie. Where can we find your stuff?
SmartEntertainmentGroup.com. You can also hear me on SiriusXM every Thursday at 4 o'clock, channel 167 on SiriusXM, and my Movie Gals on YouTube. I'm all over the place, so you can find me.
She's all over the place. Jeff, give me
Yeah.
a plug.
You can find my movie reviews and interviews at vegasfilmcritic.com. Also on my YouTube channel, on my social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I love to hear from people and communicate. And Bonnie, I want to come out and be on your Sirius XM show.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And of course,
I'll arrange it.
I'm Chuck the Movie Guy, and you can find my stuff at themovieguy.com. And next week we have Kevin Hart on the show, as well as some more movie reviews. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And I apologize to my 97-year-old grandmother who must have, I don't know what's going on, but I couldn't connect to her. But she
We'll
is
get her
97.
next week if we hurry.
Yeah, well, she probably won't have anything to say next week. But anyhow.
Well, I'll repeat it.
Well, next week I have an interview with Keira Knightley and Dominic West for Colette, so we have that.
I
Cool.
love Keira Knightley. All right,
Yeah.
thanks, guys.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Bye.